We're live.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Well. We just have to give a shout out to Krishan of Black Global for
Fantastic freedom dinner.
yes, we had a freedom dinner last night at Rum and Tickles, which is down in Stubal. And Kelvin did a great job.
Amazing.
With the food and with the rum punch. And oh my gosh.
That rum punch knocked the hell out of you.
Ooh, y'all. So today was a recuperating day. And so this is going to be interesting because we didn't get home till about 2:00 in the morning, but that's what life is like in our new home. Hanging out with friends, chilling, and getting to enjoy folks' company. It was an amazing time, an amazing dinner. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Krishan. As y'all know, we have partnered with Black Global to co-host the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, which is in about 2 weeks, y'all. If you don't have your ticket,
get your ticket.
Get your ticket. Get your ticket. All right. We only have so many all access passes until we have to go up to the next level with our subscription. So that means price going to go up. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be the one who has to pay more money. So go ahead and get your ticket today. All right. We are talking about what?
We're going to be talking about living abroad personality. Do you have the personality to move abroad, live abroad, and enjoy your life abroad?
Yes. Moving abroad is just part of the thing.
Yeah.
Right. And we get so focused on doing the thing, the moving, that we don't consider well enough what it's going to be like to live someplace else successfully. So do you have the personality type that really can handle living in a country outside of your home country?
So we have at least 16 questions we came up with.
Yes, that you should ask yourself.
You should ask yourself, and you probably will come up with more on your own, but yes, these are some of the things. But before we do that, we should introduce ourselves.
Hey, y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and retiring abroad as we build generational wealth. We just said what we're going to talk about today. But first, if you are new to our channel, then you might not know about 7 years ago, 7.5, I don't know, 2017, 2018. Time to fly. Rick and I got a wake-up call. We were getting close to retirement age. We looked at our money. Y'all know it looked
cray. Almost missed my cue.
Yes, it did not look good. But about 3.5-4 years ago, we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 in net worth to over 1 million. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, subscribe.
Yeah, give us a like.
I'll just wait right now. Go ahead, subscribe.
I like the like. That's my like. That's my like.
There you go. And hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we go live or drop a new video.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you all 16 of the questions that you should be asking yourself. And then we're going to go back and delve into each one.
Okay.
All right. So do you want to start?
You can start. Ladies first.
Thank you, sweetheart. So the first one is, am I adaptable?
Second one is, am I open-minded?
Third one, how well do I handle stress and uncertainty?
Am I patient and tolerant?
Am I independent and self-reliant?
Am I sociable?
And good at building relationships? Number 7, am I a problem solver?
8, am I adventurous and curious?
This is a good one. Am I self-aware? You know, a lot of folks I used to work with, they weren't too self-aware.
9, am I respectful and culturally aware?
Number 11, am I resilient and able to bounce back from setbacks?
Is that what you had at 11? I had that at 10.
Yeah, well, you probably do you have an old one?
I got a 10. I got 11. Am I a good communicator?
Yes. Am I resourceful and able to navigate bureaucratic systems? Y'all, Portugal.
Yeah. 13 would be, am I emotionally stable?
Yeah, that's 14. I got that at 14. Number 15, am I proactive and goal oriented? And then the last one,
Am I responsible and reliable?
yes.
I hope so. Am I reliable?
So, yes.
Okay.
So, if you can think of any more questions that we should be asking, let's put that in the chat. If you're watching from the future, hey, let us know in the comments if you think there are other questions that we're missing that a person should be asking themselves prior to even really strongly considering a move abroad. Now, let's see who is in the audience today. Of course,
Action BJ. He's going to catch the replay because he's traveling.
you know, it's a hard life, but he doesn't forget us. Hit that like button if you're lucky enough to be here live. Thank you, V. Thank you. We appreciate it. Greta, twice
Hey,
in
Greta.
one weekend.
I
Here we
know.
go. So the reason why I say twice in one weekend is because yesterday we had our group coaching session for Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. Greta just started the course. Let us know how you're liking it, Greta. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack because we have our isms and then we have to get to the nitty gritty of actually getting our money straight. But first, we have to change our mindset. So we cover all of that in Beyond the Bling. If you are interested, the information is below. My travel goddess says, stay safe and be well to Action VJ. Hey, Karen Louise. And Cassandra's in the house. Hell if I know. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Hey, Dee. Yes, good to see you in the chat. Jametta, high five. Vanessa, good to see you. Meriton. Who that? Weren't we just talking? Weren't we just talking earlier?
Hey, sis,
so y'all are in the same house, logging in from different computers. What y'all doing? What y'all doing? Living life of lounging. Hey, Auntie Trey. Tanisha is in the house. This looks like a new name. Nevis? Is it like niece, Nevice, doctor? Let me know, baby. Or from the DR, I'm not sure. Let me know how we're supposed to pronounce your name. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. Hey, Kendall.
Boa noite to you, Kendall.
Boa noite. Yes, Jess is in the house. Hey, Krishan.
Hey, Krishan.
We watched you this morning.
Thank you.
Hey, Professor. Hey, Killer Queen. Hope and Victory. It was a hug fest, and everybody's like,
I wasn't.
Yeah, you were. I love you. I love you. And then we're doing the electric slide because it ain't a Black people party if there's no electric slide or Cupid shuffle, right? Or do you waddle, wobble, wobble, whatever the name of the song is.
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble.
We had fun. Needless to say, we had fun. If you want to join us. Come to the virtual summit, the Move to Portugal virtual summit, and figure out how you can get here ASAP. So, Greta, yes, you said hello to both of us. Definitely. Hey, Vicky. Hey, San Juan. Greta King. Good to see you. Hey, Imani. I think I sent you an email back. Check it out. If I didn't, then it's still sitting there waiting for me to hit send. Hey, Nicole, the Saudade life. So I had to look that up, and it kind of means a longing. And that word, I don't know if it translates, if it captures all the meaning in the translation because it's used very often here. And so I had to look it up. Hey, Marguerite. You recovered, baby?
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby.
Are you recovered? Because we had some fun. Hey, Dana, good to see you. All right, I think we have gotten everybody. K. Renee, Sharon is in the house. Ra A. What's the new name?
Ra A.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're not new, I'm sorry, but welcome. Valerina is in the house. Shara, Claudie, Gregory, Ernestine, Miss CAF. Hi, I'm new here. Thank you for all of the
Hey, thank
information.
you,
You're
thank you,
very
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you for
Welcome to the
coming.
yes, welcome to the Our Black Utopia family. IP Italy travel or Italy travel. I'm not sure. Italy luxury travel. Is that, did I pronounce it right? Nutrition for diabetic seniors. We've got everybody's in the house for you
Oh,
to
yeah.
create. I love it, from Seattle. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, family. Okay, we're going to get to it. Let's start with the first one. Am I adaptable? Can I easily adjust to new situations, people, and environments and handle unexpected changes? There are a lot of things, and we've mentioned some of them, that you don't appreciate. Like if you travel a lot but you usually stay in hotels, that's a different experience than if you stay in an apartment or Airbnb or something like that. Why?
You're being
Because
catered to, more or less.
right, you don't have to worry about anything except for maybe the heat and AC and translating Celsius into Fahrenheit.
Right.
If you're American. If you're not American, then that's not even a thing for you. But the oven, the dishwasher,
The washing machine.
the washing machine. And some folks have we don't have this in the States. I've never seen it in the States, a washer and dryer combo. I have yet to figure that out. The place that we stayed in Spain
Yeah.
had a washer dryer combo. They said it sucked. I never tried it. And I on thick towels, I just don't get it.
Yeah, we hung them out.
So we just hung them. And so that's another thing. Like here, dryers are not prolific. So some people have them, some newer apartments may have them, but most apartments do not have them. They don't even have the space for them. And so hanging clothes out on the line and or having some kind of drying rack is the norm here. Are you adaptable? Can you handle unexpected changes?
Can you handle your drawers being hung outside to dry?
For the birds to poop on
And for people to see.
Yeah. Sometimes, okay, y'all, I will hang the long stuff. We've got two lines, and I will hang the long stuff in the front and then my underwear behind so no one can see. Like nobody care about these old lady underwear.
They just draw.
But the people, like, it just came to me. The people from upstairs can still see, like, across the way.
Yeah, but they just draw.
But they're mine. I don't like people. No. So, all right. So, are you adaptable? How are you guys at adaptability? Let us know. I'm going to start starting the questions. So y'all know the routine. If you have a question or a comment that you want put up on the screen, put a Q in front of it. Okay, so I'm going to go back and Marguerite, it was a blast. It was a blast last night. We had so much fun. Does a washer dryer work? Do Airbnbs there usually have dryers? No, Cassandra. No. None of the Airbnbs that we've stayed in here in Portugal has had a dryer. When we were in Spain in 2018, the Airbnb we stayed in had the combo. And then, of course, the place that we stayed in Girona had the combo. But
they weren't keen on it either.
They were not keen on it. They're like, I don't use that. That thing don't work. It just
makes your clothes warm damp.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, see, Valerina says she used a washer dryer combo in Melbourne, and it took forever to complete both cycles. Thank goodness. It was the day before traveling. Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is, as far as adaptability, okay, so winter is approaching, and our winter is wet. It rains a couple times a week. Sometimes no times a week, but then sometimes every day, right? And so you have to time your washing on the weather. And if you miss that opportunity, then you're drying clothes in the house or or you leave and you come back and your clothes are still out there in the rain. And so then they've got to stay out even longer. And then you've got to make sure that they don't blow, because if they blow and they fold upon each other, they could start to get moldy. So
Yeah.
it's a thing. And, and so it's really important that you ask yourselves these questions, because what you don't want to do is basically sell everything in your home country and then realize you don't like change.
Yeah.
It sounds good on paper.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
But there's a lot of adapting.
Yes.
All right.
Number 2.
Am I open-minded? Am I willing to embrace different cultures, perspectives, and worldviews?
What I think of with this is understanding that even though we live in a city that has a lot of Black folks, they are not American Black folks. They don't have the same isms as we do. They don't have the same expectations that we do. It's a whole different culture, and there's not necessarily this instant kinship.
No, there's not.
Right? I have found that if I smile at the ladies and boa tarde, boa noite, bom dia, I usually get a smile and a response in return. But it is not expected. And a lot of times there's an avoidance of eye contact. So, it, for me, what that says is, can I accept this without the negative part? Right?
Yeah.
Bringing our negative baggage.
They got an attitude towards you or something like that, and it's not that way.
Exactly. That's a Halisi problem, not a them problem.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And so, and then the other things are, as far as being open-minded and embracing different cultures. Yesterday or the other day when I was I on the bus or the train? I can't remember. Rick wasn't with me. 2 older ladies, they looked older than me. I'm assuming they were older than me. They looked much older than me. And it was the train. The metro was crowded, and the culture here is you get up. You do not let elderly folks stand, right? And so I immediately got up, and I don't think that they were Portuguese because they were surprised.
Oh.
but these are some of the cultural differences. Family is very important here. Children are very important here. Moms are very important here. And the notion that, well, I was in line. Let me tell you, an older person, if you're in queue in the grocery store.
I was getting ready to mention that. Tony and I were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
So you'll be standing in line at a grocery store or something, and an elderly person will walk right in front of you and get in front of you in that line.
Yep.
And it's just not you, it's anyone. And Tony, a gentleman that I was talking to last night at the party, said he's like, man, I know, I was like ready to pull somebody back. It's just a culture thing.
Yeah, it is just a culture thing. Yeah, skin folk ain't kinfolk. No. And like when we say that at home, we're thinking about the crab in the barrel mentality that happens a lot of times in our communities, right? Because the capitalist society, white supremacy has pitted us against each other in America. And so it's hard sometimes for Black folks to work together because the system makes us believe that only one of us gets to do the thing, and whoever wins gets to win, and it's a zero-sum game, and the other person's lost and is just out.
Right.
SOL, right? I had somebody ask me in the comments, what does SOL mean? I'm not going to say it online.
Ish out of luck.
Basically, right? So, in any event, so first one, am I adaptable? Second one, am I open-minded? Am I willing to embrace different cultures, perspectives, and worldviews? The perspective and worldview that I will never accept is the worldview that says people of color are less than, that Trumpiest type of worldview that there's pieces of in every single country that we've ever visited. You get some Trumplican type folks. That's a worldview I'm not going to accept, and I'm going to fight it tooth and nail. But other than that, as long as it comes from a place of love and compassion, I'm down
Mhm.
and love, love, love to learn new stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Number 3, how well do I handle stress and uncertainty? Moving abroad is not for the faint of heart, y'all. Like my mom, even when she was younger, there's no way she could have done this. She was just, she is and was too much of a worrywart. She will what if you to death.
Like I was doing Sophia.
Were you?
Yeah, I was what ifing her because, I went to have a procedure done and I was working with my care worker at Serenity. And it was like, okay, what if? What do I need? How do I need to do this? All the way until the point where I left the house to go to the hospital to have my procedure done. And she would come right back and say, don't worry about it. Just do this, do this, do that. And then told me, hey, if you need to, call me from the hospital.
Rick's a Libra. Every Libra that I know does that. They do that.
But you get through it. You get through it and you're okay.
Am I able to stay composed and make decisions under pressure or in unfamiliar situations? This is all about how do I handle stress and uncertainty. I mean, like when we were in Mexico trying to figure out how we were going to get, we got our permanent residency in Mexico. We were down there. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought we were going to be down there chilling. I was down there stressed out, trying to find an apartment from Mexico, get our FBI background check from Mexico, find a place to get our printing done to print out all of our documentation and to make copies and blah, 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 whoop-de-woo, and get this notarized from Mexico. And no, you can't get a Mexican notary or whatever that is to do it. They've got to be American. And oh, by the way, yeah, there's a consulate here, but they don't do that.
There's not a Kinko's on every corner. There's
no. And the copy shops are there, but they're usually in papelerias, like in the area that we were in. And so that's just not, they're like mini Staples, right? But mom and pop Staples or Office Depots. And there was an Office Depot there, but it wasn't close.
Yeah, it wasn't close at all.
And uncertainty. So you do all of this, you pay, like we had to come up with about $6,000 or $7,000. And that's why we're not giving away scholarships to the Move to Portugal Summit. If you're going to move this year, you should have the money. If not, do the summit next year. We might have some donated tickets, and we do have a waiting list for that. But, we had to come up with 7,000 cash, no credit, cash for this apartment before we even applied, before we even knew if we were going to get a yes. Talk about uncertainty. And then we had to go home, start packing up our stuff as if it was a done deal.
Yeah.
Then we got on a plane to move here on a tourist visa, still not knowing if we were going to get a yes.
Got to step out there.
That's uncertainty. It was expensive uncertainty. So if that makes you so uncomfortable that you're pulling your hair out, you might want to rethink and figure out where you want to live in your home country that's going to make you happier. All right. Number 4.
Am I patient and tolerant? Am I patient and tolerant, and can I tolerate cultural differences, bureaucracy, and potentially slower paced lifestyles?
Okay. I remember when we were here on our scouting trip, and it had been a long day. I was hot. It was still hot. It was June. And I was tired, probably hadn't eaten. And I wanted some candy, and there was no place open because grocery stores are not open till midnight here. There are a couple that are open till midnight. They're in the mall. That's not closed. I didn't even know that in those days. I just knew all of the Pingo Doses and Auchans that
They've
were
shut
in our
down.
pathway. They are shut down. Some at 8 p.m., some at 9, 9:30, and then that's basically it. Okay, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to a bar any time of night. Some of them stay open till God only knows when, but the grocery stores, mm-mm. No, babies. These people go home. They're not trying to work you to death. And then the other thing is that if you're hungry in the in between, most of the restaurants are not open. So, right, like you got to plan this. The restaurants are open from like 11 to 2 or 3, or maybe 12 to 3, and then they close. The bakeries are open, and the bakeries usually will have savory pastry,
Yeah, some
and
top of places.
and yeah, and sweet pastries. And then some will even, like the kiosks, will even have hamburgers and French fries and stuff like that. The kiosks that are in the parks and things like that. Some of them do, but that's not sit down restaurant. Like if you want that experience, you have to go between 12 and 3. Some restaurants open back up at 6. Most open back up at 7. I remember when Rashida came here and she wanted to go to dinner, and I texted her and said, "We'll meet you at 7:30." She's like, 7:30? I'm supposed to be in bed by 8.
I hear you.
Not in Portugal. Not in Portugal. So it's a different way of life. It's a slower paced way of life. People sit and chill and talk and have their meal. And oftentimes you don't see, in America, when we go to the restaurant, everybody at the table will be like this. That's not, on their phones, texting or doing whatever they're doing. That is not usually the case here. It is sometimes, of course, but not usually. Not usually. You go to the kiosks and stuff in those in between, and people are talking. What a concept. How about the bureaucracy?
Take your number, please. Take a number, please.
Anywhere you go. So, like, you had to get the digital security key. Is that what it's called?
The digital key.
Okay, so they have a thing called the digital key, and we should probably do a short video on that, because that key will unlock sometimes the hospitals, depending upon what hospital you go to. It's also how you had to register the drone. So any kind of online bureaucratic thing,
Right.
It can act as your password. And so it's something that you should keep close to the vest, right? And not share. Just figuring out how to do that was like a week process. You go on the website, and regardless of whether it's in English or you do the auto translate, it's still not making sense. Okay, so did it work? Did I could fill it out online, but did it work? And when am I going to get this? Finally, we just had to go in person, grab a number, because everywhere you go here, you grab a number. I don't care if it's the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, you grab a doggone number. And even at like Continent customer service, which is like their super target, you take a number, and you don't take any number. You have to go into the machine and say, okay, is my service an A, B, C, D, E? So you look on the screen, they're on A01, C102, D58. Yeah. And those are all different services. So
same with the hospital.
Same with the hospital.
You go to the hospital to check in for procedures or doctor's appointments or whatever. You go to the kiosk, and because you're also letting them know that you're there for your appointment. So and you put your NIF number in, right? And it will kick you out, and it'll have your number and everything, and you sit there and wait for your number to come up on the screen.
When you go to the immigration office, same thing. They have different A, B, C, D. What are you there for, right? And And so, yeah, and you're going to grab a number, and that's just how it is. Now, the great part about that is if you grab a number, that means you don't necessarily have to sit and wait there, because when we went to get our Navigante cards, or Navigante, you had to take a number. And I had I got there before they opened, and I was like number 98. So we went, had a little meal. I walked around before Rick got up there, had a little meal, went back, and finally got my card. The bureaucracy, this is just how it is. And if you're still trying to live, if you're from America, maybe even Britain and Canada as well, hey, Kimmy, then, that type A personality, that, it's not going to work. If you need everything to be like this, and you look at systems and you're like, this doesn't really make sense. There's a more efficient way to do this.
You will have people in the line in the store that will stop and have a conversation with the teller as you're waiting to check out behind them. And you wait.
And you wait.
Everybody waits.
Do not be in a hurry.
No one's hemming and hawing and huffing.
No, like yesterday when I went in my to the grocery store, I always get a Portuguese lesson. All right. The young man who is usually at the checkout gives me a lesson. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to speak to you in English and you're going to speak to me in Portuguese. And then he'll correct my pronunciation while people are waiting. Mm-hmm. People are waiting. They just have to wait because he's giving a lesson. And this is just important of whatever it is you got to do. So Cassandra says, what are your thoughts on avoiding the temporary residency visa process and simply traveling to Portugal and staying 3 months every 180 days? I'm thinking that half time in between US and Portugal might interest me. That's no different than, the snowbirds, right? That spend half their time in New York and half their time in Florida or something like that.
I know somebody that does that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't, but I know of people who do that.
I know somebody that does that.
And that's not something that would bring me joy, because being in the United States does not bring me joy. But it's definitely doable. And we know someone here that was kind of doing that. We interviewed on our show about dating.
Yeah, he's the one.
Oh, I thought you meant between New York and...
No. He does that.
Yeah, he does that. So even though he owns a place here. So yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. Nah. The question is nah. I couldn't figure it out. Okay. So I don't know if I could get it to work, but from what I heard, they don't work. So it doesn't work. So then I didn't even bother trying it. Sounds like being organized is a way to combat worrying. Yes. What does Cassandra say? Face every adversity ready. Fear. To get rid of fear, face every adversity ready. Yeah. If you are, if you have done your homework and you're organized and you've got your timeline, and we're going to be talking especially for the all access people, how you create that move abroad plan and how you budget. What are the questions you should be asking yourself? All of that is going to be covered in the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit for the all access pass holders. And if you've got that plan, if you've got that timeline, it's all on the calendar. This has got to be done by this time. This has got to be done by that time. Then that will alleviate some of the stress and uncertainty as far as the move goes. But once you are here, you can be organized all you want. The systems are just different. So you have to let go of the notion that you're an adult and so you should have this stuff figured out. Yeah, in the United States, we know how the systems work. We know going to the bank is going to take this amount of time. Doing this is going to take this. I know how I can go online and get my passport renewed. I can go to the post office and get a certified, send it certified and know it's going to get there. None of those things are necessarily true in other countries, and certainly not true in Portugal.
And it's not difficult.
It's
It
just
can be
different.
challenging because it's different, but it's not difficult where you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Just takes a little time to figure it
And
out.
you've got to be patient. Give
Yeah.
yourself grace.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace, right? Getting residency for NHR before end of the year. Okay. So are you already here? And if you already have your residency visa, you can go. I've been told that you can go ahead and change your tax status and get NHR, even if you're not here. Get NHR, and then the so-called professionals that we listen to said, then you can switch it back to the United States until you get here. However, I think that there is a cadre of people who are trying to make money off of the panic of NHR going away. So for any of you who don't know, NHR is the tax scheme that is available for anyone who has not been a tax resident of Portugal for the last 5 years. And it's basically a discount on your taxes for 10 years.
For 10 years.
But then you got to figure out how you're going to pay your taxes on that 11th year. So if you plan to stay, right? It is election season here. I have been told by Portuguese people who are professionals, attorneys, immigration people, et cetera, and all of this is going to be discussed at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, that it's probably not going to go away in its entirety. I know. I think I was talking to June and Penny earlier. I heard that it might be lessened from 10 years to 5 years. Okay. I've heard other people say it might just be for people at a certain income level. Okay. So he said before the golden visa was going away. It didn't go away.
It didn't go away.
They just eliminated
changed
part of it, right? And so the professional Portuguese people believe that that is going to be the case for NHR as well. All right. So if you plan to move to Portugal, I would say continue with your plans. Most folks do not pay the tax rate because you have write-offs, right? So you only pay that is if you don't keep your receipts and do all of that stuff. All right. So yeah, but I don't want this to be Portugal centric because we're talking about Portugal's not for everyone, y'all. If you dream of Bali, if you dream of Thailand, right? If you dream of Australia, if you dream of Colombia or Ecuador or Panama, these questions are the questions that you need to ask yourself regardless, especially if they don't speak English. But even if they do speak English, Australia, New Zealand, Britain, those are different cultures. And I'm going to be frank, I do not trust countries that were colonized by the dregs of British society. I traveled solo with my 12 to 13-year-old kiddos there last summer for 7 weeks. Yay, I had fear and uncertainty for sure, but I prepared her on emergencies and prayed that all would be fine. And everything was fine, wasn't it, Shara? Because Portugal is very safe. It is like the 6th safest country in the world. Literally, if I go look at the window, I would not be surprised to see kids playing in the park. And it's dark here. You can see the window. It's dark. It's 9:00 at night. I would not be surprised. Can you break down that 7,000? It seems excessive. It was 2 months rent. You give 2 months notice and you don't pay those last 2 months. So 2 months rent up front plus the current month, that's 3 months rent plus another 2 months rent for security deposit. So basically we had to come up with 5 months rent.
And that depends on who you deal with too.
Some people try to ask for a year.
Yeah.
Right? They think people are desperate and they try to ask for a year. But, talk about uncertainty. How is there on the weekend?
There's I think he's talking about as far as businesses being open and stuff, I believe. Stores are open, Mom and pop, a lot of the smaller ones are closed.
Yeah, especially the ones owned by Portuguese. The ones owned by immigrants, I mean, they're trying to make that money. They're open.
If that's what you're
Holidays,
talking about.
yeah, holidays, they're open. They're open.
Yeah, it's not closed down where you can't
Get
access
anything. Yeah.
anything.
But like our coffee shop is closed, the fruiteria is closed, but the chain grocery stores are open. Um, they're even open for a little bit on the holidays, kind of like the United States 1970s. If I embrace it as an adventure, I guess the nuances are received as a part of the growth experience. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Let's move on and then we can get to the next set of questions. All right.
Which one are we on? Number 5.
So we're on number 5.
So, am I dependent and self reliant? Can I take care of myself and handle daily tasks without relying on familiar support networks?
Mama's boys, mama's girls, daddy's girls. You know, if you got to call home uh, for each decision made, if you find it hard to make those decisions, you don't want to be a house sitter. That's for sure. You know, you got to be the type of person that says, whatever comes my way, I can figure it out.
Yeah.
Now, having a nice, healthy emergency fund helps with that because some stuff just costs money, right? But if you've got the notion that anything that comes my way, I can figure out, you can do it. Can I take care of myself and handle daily tasks? You know, it's interesting because a lot of single women are like, I don't want to be there by myself. I don't want to travel by myself, But if you have to travel for business, oftentimes you have to go by yourself.
Right.
You go by yourself all day long in the city that you live in, with no bodyguards, probably, or anything like that, right? But somehow being in another country, what is it? Now, here's the thing. Make sure that there is a community there. If you are on the fence about that, make sure that there is a community there, right? We have a set of friends. We check in with each other. Hey, haven't heard from you. How you doing? Right? We don't want somebody's, I've fallen and I can't get up and ain't nobody checking on them. Right? So that's one of the things.
That's the community.
Right? That we love about Lisbon is we have a lovely Black English speaking community here of caring folks, and you are not alone. So on the one hand, if you want to find out a good barber or a good house cleaner or a mover or where to get some hair care products or where did you find that corn on the cob, because it's hard to find corn on the cob here. We've got WhatsApp groups, we've got Facebook groups that you can get those questions answered.
Questions about anything, pretty much. I mean, somebody's got the answer for it. Somebody can explain it to you or show you the way to get things done. So it's not like, unless you're just a person that's all to yourself all the time and that's how you want it. But everybody that I know here isn't like that. So,
yeah. But if you're the type of person where when the refrigerator breaks down, you call mom or dad or sis to ask what to do about it, you probably do not have a move abroad, live abroad personality. All right, number 6, am I sociable and good at building relationships? Can I easily make new friends and connections in a new place? Even if you are an introvert, and I am an introvert, I probably am on the border. The interesting thing about it to me is it's easier to make friends over here than it was at home. Maybe because we're all fish out of water.
Yeah, I think more or less it's because we're like-minded. Everybody has this adventure we're on. And it's like, okay, so when we sit down and talk to you, it's like, I feel the same way. This is what I thought, and this is what made me do this, and this is why I do this. And next year, and then we turn around and ask each other, or ask the person is, where were you in the United States?
Yeah.
Because everybody broke away from that.
Yeah, well, we're too busy working and surviving, and that's by design. That is by design. If they keep you too busy to pay attention, then they remain in power, right? So, so y'all, all the men met up. The men, not all the men, but a
We had
good
men's meeting. Yeah, men's
meet up.
meetup. We got together. It was great.
How
It
many?
was like it was about 13 of us.
Okay,
All
that's
went out.
that's a coven.
We had some eats and some drinks, and of course, we got to talk trash and share good things and everything like that. So now we have a men's group that we will continue doing and meet at least once a month,
Yeah,
hang out.
yeah.
Yeah,
So everybody cool,
everybody was awesome.
and all you have to do is show up.
Yeah,
So, if the idea of showing up someplace with a bunch of strangers gives you anxiety, this might be a harder thing to do unless you are really that, person who just wants to be an island. Um, but I think making new friends and all of that in a new place is very important, and will help with a softer landing. And you can do that through Facebook groups. Those Facebook groups lead to the WhatsApp
the
groups,
WhatsApp groups.
right? But you start with the Facebook groups. So, like Black in Portugal, POCs in Portugal, Black Americans in Lisbon, and each some countries have one for each city. Like there's so many Black folks in Mexico. There's brothers and sisters of Mexico City, of Merida, Black in PV, and Tulum, Playa del Carmen has their own group. Maybe Querétaro has their own group, right? So, but for Portugal, there's not enough for one for every city. But there are people from all over the country in Black in Portugal, right? And so, whatever country you are considering, look to see if there's a Facebook group first, just a general one with everybody in it, and then immigrants to that, or expats, and then one with Black folks. So, yeah, yes, 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 yes. All right.
So if there are any men out there that are interested, Black in Portugal, and go to the Facebook Black in Portugal page, and you can sign up or ask to join the men's group, and it's just men. So feel free, and you can be in the States still.
Okay. So number 7 is similar to number 5 in a way. It says, am I a problem solver? Do I have the ability to find solutions to challenges that may arise while living abroad? So this kind of gets into self-reliance as well, and able to handle, well, the self-reliance is more the daily tasks. But problem solver will definitely come into play when things throw you a curveball. So for instance, some folks got here, and they had met some Americans when they came on their scouting trip. I think this is the story. The end result is they ended up taking over these people's lease for the apartment, and so great, right? I don't have to put down all of this money, et cetera, et cetera. Just finish out their lease. Well, lo and behold, they get there and the place is disgusting. Now, when they were doing the video call, I guess they were just showing the nice parts.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's like, Americans understand American expectations. We know what we expect. And so they knew very well what they were doing, and they were basically pawning off their bad decision onto somebody else. And so in that instance, there's stuff that you have to figure out. You have to problem solve for the fact that you are in a place that is unlivable. You've just moved all your stuff. You may be having some stuff shipped. It's got this address. What are you going to do? So are you a problem solver? And do you have the ability to find solutions to challenges? Like when we were in Mexico trying to figure out how to get our FBI background check from Mexico. Because, in the States, you just go to a USPS office, give your digital fingerprints, boom, 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 you done. But trying to find the fingerprint cards and finding ink. And what's the Spanish word for ink pad? Because, I've had Spanish, but ink pad in the Walmart, trying to find the ink pad and then practicing doing the fingerprints manually.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is what we're calling problem solving. You figure it out. You figure it out. All right. So that was number 7. Let's see what you all are talking about in the chat. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go to my starred, and I would like to know if the decision to end NHR tax break is fine. No,
it's not.
The Prime Minister said something.
He announced it, but just like they announced before about the golden visa, he announced it, and but they still have to vote on it. It has to go to.
There has to be a bill. So supposedly they're presenting a bill this week. So the bill is going to get presented. Then it's got to be negotiated by all the stakeholders. And then it's got to be voted on. It's got to go through the whole, we know the process of how laws are made, right? We had Schoolhouse Rock. Well, it basically works the same way here, right?
Except you got a whole lot more parties.
You do have a whole lot more parties. That means a whole lot more stakeholders that is going to want to put their 2 cents into it. So things move more quickly here, but not that quickly when it comes to these. I'm doing fire, but won't hit my financial goal for another 5 to 8 years. How much harder will the process be to move in Portugal by then?
That's kind of hard to answer.
For you to create, you might not be able to move here in 5 to 8 years. I'm just going to be honest with you, baby, because things change every day. And they might raise the threshold of the amount of money. So the question is, and at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, we have Libria Jones, the remote work guru, who believes in 6-figure 100% remote jobs. All right. And she spoke at Exodus Summit this year and last year. And I think Stephanie had just interviewed someone who said she listened to Libria, she got her little toolkit, did the thing, got the job. All right. So I say that to say it might be better and you might hit your fire goal more quickly is if you can get one of these 100% remote jobs where you're making at least as much as you're making now, if not more. Because if you're Black, you are underpaid. I don't care. I know you're underpaid. I know you are, because every Black person, unless you're working for the government, is underpaid in private industry. So, if you could do that, then you could move here, lower your cost of living, and save more money to hit that 100% fire goal faster. Y'all, figure out how to get out of the matrix. And the fastest way is to have a remote job. We also did a video on, it's called, I think, How to Leave the USA ASAP. We talked to this other lady who is in education. She talks about some other types of foreign jobs that are possible, as well as some remote jobs, So, baby, we want you out. We want you out. And I understand, we have our goals, but for Rick and I, we figured out, because we're not full fire, we are coast fire, and we figured out that we could reach full fire faster by lowering our expenses. And we cut our expenses by 2/3 by moving here. Okay. Please do a video on the digital key. Okay. We got to write that down so I don't forget. You won't forget, right?
We were planning on doing a video on it.
And I've already forgotten what we had to do to get it done, but we'll go back through it. We'll remember. So yes, it's always something. See, these are the things, and you have, to me, I don't know if I put it down there, but it's probably worded a different way of being a lifelong learner, being curious. There's a program to expedite before the end of the year, but they charge a lot. Like I said, I think that people are trying to make money and exploit the situation.
Yeah.
I'm not naming any names because I don't know anybody for sure. But when I saw all of the barrage of stuff online, um, it sounded to me like people were trying to make people panic and then say, okay, well, we can do it for you, 5,000, right? Like, no, I'm not here yet. Thanks for the feedback. Oh, okay. You're very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. Kimmy, what's the name of the financial group coaching session? So it is Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. It's below. It says, I think the thing says financial freedom, or do you want to transform your life or something like that? It's like the second thing under the description. First is the Move to Portugal Summit, then is Beyond the Bling. That's our financial course. It is online, it is ongoing, and it comes with monthly group coaching. We will be moving to a subscription model. Everyone who has already gotten the course will be grandfathered in, but after that, the price is going to go up and it's going to be a subscription. Okay. In Portugal, do the Blacks from Africa that speak English get along well with African Americans and vice versa? In general, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. It's just a cultural difference, right? And the ones that speak English, like folks, people are people. People
Yeah.
are people, and the ones who speak English do tend to come to like the Black in Portugal meetups and things like that. They kind of want to practice their English. Maybe some of them know 2, 3, 4 languages and just want to hang with people who look like them. So yeah. Claudia says, Alicia and Rick, I'm not yet near financial independence. However, watching your videos are providing valuable tools, advice to have difficult conversations with my partner about sorting out our finances.
Mm.
Yes, 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 Claudia. We love it. Good. And have him watch whatever you need to have him or her watch because, people got to be on the same page. And we unfortunately have talked to 2, 3, 4 people like, look, my partner's going to get on board or going to get left. Antonio, in terms of legislation now can be faster. Yeah, because the party in power in Portugal has a majority. Yes. So they can approve laws easily. Yes. The president can veto it. Yeah. So it works the same way. And yeah, their bills tend to go through a lot faster than in the United States. I love the parliamentary. I love that system. I love the fact that smaller voices still get a voice, and it's not just the 2 parties that leads to nonsense.
Stupidity.
When you have to appeal to more people, and when you know that you're going to get a voice, and you don't have to be the biggest voice in the room, I think it just leads to a healthier system. But there's always going to be some nonsense. There's always going to be a bit of corruption, no matter where you go, because people are human beings, and that's what human beings do.
Yeah.
That's what human beings do. How do you adjust to the radical change of embracing unemployment? I'll never work again after leaving the U.S. soil long term. I don't consider myself unemployed. I consider myself retired. I am not employable. I am not employable anymore. Nobody wants to hire me because I ain't putting up with nothing. What am I going to put up with?
Nothing.
Nothing. Are you employable?
Nope.
We ain't the ones.
Nope.
We are not the
it.
ones.
And not interested.
Right? I mean, it's Sunday. For all of you who are starting to feel that anxiety that you get Sunday afternoon because you have to go back to work on Monday, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But take our course. Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. And you will find a faster way to get to retirement or to coast fi, where maybe you're just doing some little piddly part-time job online, just to make up the gap, right? But there is a way to get out of the matrix sooner than later. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, expenses times 25. And until you get to that point of your expenses, your annual expenses times 25, whatever number that is, then I can't quit. That's not necessarily the case. And we talked about that on Thursday. Go watch that video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's over 170 people watching. I hope we have 170 likes if you guys are finding this information helpful.
Girl.
Not in this world. Now, I have always been entrepreneurial, even when I was in elementary school. I was the lemonade stand person. I had a balloon business. Because I knew then I didn't like people telling me what to do. You ain't the boss of me. You are not the boss of me. Okay, number 8.
Do I have the same number as you have?
Yes.
Okay. I am adventurous and curious. Do I have a natural inclination to explore, try new things, and learn about the world around me?
I think this is really, really important.
That's very important.
Yeah. So I said a lifelong learner, but that curiosity, because learning a new language, if you move to a place like, I know folks here who have been here for 8 years and just took lessons. I do not suggest you do that. I do not suggest you do that. Because they were here way before the pandemic, right? And they just took lessons just like this summer. I think that, that adventurous spirit, that curiosity, that's what makes this whole thing fun. I love learning new things every day.
Every day is learning.
It's right. Even if it's just going down a street we haven't gone down before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
I did that the other day.
Right.
I left here, and let me tell you, I was walking down streets I ain't never been down before. I was like, oh, okay, this is a new way. This is every day. You got to look at it like, just being adventurous.
Yeah. Yeah. And found this beautiful cathedral.
Yeah.
I love the architecture. And Jess, thank you. We'll put that up in a second. But yeah, this beautiful, this is we found another one of the touristy landmarks that's just right around the corner from us. Well, about a 10-minute walk. Didn't even know it was there. Because I looked at that hill, saw how steep it was, and was like, no, thank you. Because I have to walk back up. No, thank you. No, thank you. But if Rick can do it, I can do it. Come on now. I'm not going to be outdone.
Thanks, Jess.
So thank you, y'all. Doing the dang thing. Yes, leading the way. Absolutely. We are trying to be the people that we needed to see when we were making this decision. And I would not have, had I known what I what I know now, I definitely would not have set our date at 2025. Right. But I thought we had to reach full fire and yada, yada, yada. And it wasn't until hearing other folks who were not quite our age, but they said enough for me to start reworking the numbers and rethinking it. And I had an aha moment. So Jess, thank you so much for the super chat or super sticker. I can't tell which one it is. All of our super chat and super sticker money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. BJM is in Puerto Vallarta. Yay. Good. I'm so happy for you. I am so happy for you. So are you adventurous? Are you curious? Am I a problem solver? Am I sociable and good at building relationships? Am I independent and self-reliant? Am I patient and tolerant? How well do I handle stress and uncertainty? Am I open-minded? Am I adaptable? Those are the first 8 questions that you need to ask yourself. This one is equally important. Am I self-aware? You should be asking yourself this now, because some people are so unself-aware, and the things that come out of their mouth, and you're like, did you just hear the things coming out of your mouth? They do. It's like babies read the room. Read the room. Do I understand my strengths and weaknesses, and am I willing to work on personal growth and development? We do not want to bring all of our isms, especially bring our isms unchecked to your new home. You just don't. You just don't. At least know, like, to heal from them is going to take time. It's going to take time. And will we ever be 100? Those who grew up in America, those who are Black and grew up in America, will we ever be healed from the abject oppression and torture that we've had to deal with on a daily basis? And when I say torture, I don't necessarily mean physical torture. I mean mental and psychological torture. It is torturous, not, I mean, Ice Cube did a song about it. He's like, I didn't come home dead. Like, I didn't get dead today. No murders happened on my street today. Today was a good day. Like, why is that even a question? Why is that even it? Like, today's a good day should be, homegirl gave me some play. Not, no one ended up dead. So that every time we walk out of the house, we have to put on that armor to deal with the Karens and Kens of the world. So it is torture. Mm-hmm. To be able to heal from that is going to take more than a notion. Start, therapy as soon as I need to find another therapist. Seriously. Exodus Summit, if it did nothing else, it started getting me to thinking about some of my invisible luggage, so to speak. But being self-aware is at least saying, I know I can be triggered by X, Y, and Z. I know I have these isms, and I'm going to be aware so that I am not triggered in my new country when they have no idea where we're coming from. Oh, they ain't serving me because I'm Black. No, they're just, look. And those who are coming to the Move to Portugal Summit will learn about this. Business, the way they do business here is just different. Mm-hmm. It is just different. It is not just about money, 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 money. And so you will find, even in restaurants, like when I used to wait tables, and it's like every time you walk onto the floor or off the floor, you are doing something. You don't come back empty-handed. You don't go out empty-handed. And you look at every single table, water, 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 napkin, napkin, salt, pepper, right? On the way out, on the way, that's not how they work here. They will bring her a glass of orange juice and then go back, and then bring you your salt and pepper and then go back. That. Mm. So understanding who you are and what your issues are so that you're not vomiting up all of your nonsense onto other folks. Who are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm just trying to do my job and bring people their food. And you have, said I'm the race card and the this and the that.
Regurgitated all your issues.
Right? They're not trying to hear that. Just said, can you persevere? That might be on the list, but not put quite that way. I think that's a good one. Because stuff is going to happen. And like, even when we went for our self appointment and they're like, oh no, you have to go back out there and wait because you missed your turn because you were sitting with your husband. And I was told that they would take both of us at the same time. But I'm not leaving here without my card. I'm not leaving here without completing this process. That's what I do know. And we did it and we got it done and we got our cards and it was all good. But yeah, can you persevere? So number 9, am I self-aware? Do I understand my strengths and weaknesses? And I'm able to and willing to work on personal growth and development. And then part of the growth is learning the new language too, right? Yeah. For those of you who are like, I want to learn a new language, understand that the neurologist told my dad, if you want to lessen the effects of dementia, learn a new language. If you want to prevent dementia, one way you could prevent it is by learning another language, also learning an instrument. So I'm learning 2 languages, y'all. Look, I'm going to live to be 103. Jiminy Cricket. Or is it 102? I don't know. Anyway, all right. What's the next one?
Am I respectful and culturally sensitive? Can I appreciate and respect the local customs and traditions of the host country?
Yeah. There are, the first thing that we did was learn the greetings,
Yeah.
right?
Greetings and making sure you know how to say thank you.
Yes. Yes. Respecting local customs, getting your butt up out that seat if you're able-bodied. Honey, Rosa Parks, we ain't trying to hear that. This is a different country, right? When in Rome, you get your butt up out the seats for the elders. That's what you do. That's what you do. For moms with their babies, you get your butt up out that seat. And you know what? I am able bodied, and there will be a time when I might not be. So as long as I am, I'm going to walk up the hill. I'm going to get my butt up, and I'm going to act like I've got some home training, because this is the custom here in Portugal, right? Wherever you go, they will have their own. You should be learning about those, seeing if there's something that you want to do.
Hmm.
You might,
Participate.
right? Well, you might not want, you might look at these norms and say, nah, because like when I heard about Dubai and some of that stuff, I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't even know if I want to visit with all them rules. Psh, that's my choice. But at least I'm self-aware enough to realize what I will and will not put up with, right? All right. What's the next one?
11.
Yes.
Resilience.
Am I resilient and able to bounce back from setbacks? Can I handle failures or disappointment and keep moving forward? We were supposed to be able to rent out the Airbnb that we stayed in when we were here for our scouting trip, thereby eliminating the need to put up a bunch of money up front or to be spending money on rent for an
Right.
apartment that was empty. That was my goal. And that's what I tried to do. We tried to make that happen. Lord knows, for those of you who were following us back in them days, we were trying to make that happen. If I had to hear Namaste Halisi one more time, it's hard to Namaste. Now, she was using it like relax. I know that's not what Namaste means, but that's how she was using it. And it's like, no, we have our appointment on this date. I need a contract that has passed the mustard with our immigration people by this date so that she can print it off, send it to the hotel, have the concierge give it to us when we arrive in San Francisco. Boop-de-boop-de-boo. Look, we have spent too much money on this whole thing for you to Namaste me.
And have to make us start all over.
Exactly. So we did a pivot. We found Rossini and he helped us find this apartment, and we got it done within like 5 days because I didn't have time for the pity pot.
Pity pot.
Right. So we bounced back. Some things we went over budget. We didn't panic. And here's the thing. If I haven't learned anything else from this move, y'all, one of the takeaways that I'm not even sure we would get to, but I'm going to say it, is that once you put yourself out there and you make a move in faith, like I said, we were not full fire. We're still not full fire. We're at Coast Fi. Once you make that move, it is amazing how things fall into place. I think in hindsight that we are so much better off in this location, in this apartment with those landlords.
Yeah.
Right? But at the time, it was frustrating. It was frustrating. We went over budget. I didn't panic because it was amazing how I was just like, we're going to get checks in the mail. I don't know from where. I don't know how. And we got checks in the mail.
Yeah.
We got checks in the mail,
Very true.
right? And made up for the unforeseen expenses that we had,
Yeah.
right? So we were back at zero of the 2 years living expenses, et cetera, et cetera. I think that when you step out on faith, God, the universe, however you want to look at it, works in tandem with you with your positive thinking, with your moves forward, with some planning. You just ain't gonna walk out and not have anything planned, not have a safety net. Be responsible.
Yeah.
But stuff is always going to happen. So one of the things that I had to sit back and realize, like 6 or 7 months in, is like, look at this. Look at how God works. It just step out on faith. Do not get into analysis paralysis. All right. What's the next one? Number 12.
Is that you or me?
That's you. Communicator.
I am a good communicator. Tongue got in the way. I'm a good communicator. Can I effectively express myself and understand others, even in a language barrier situation? Yeah.
And this becomes very important because he'll say half of a sentence when you are dealing with people who don't have English as their first language, especially when it comes around like health questions and things like that. One of the things that I learned very early on in taking Spanish is not to use slang. They understand American slang here a little bit better than in other countries because they hear American movies. Most American movies are not dubbed. The kids' movies are, but the adult movies are not dubbed. They have Portuguese subtitles, so they're used to hearing some of our slang. But if you have an illness or something like that, or you don't feel well, it's really important to make sure that you are communicating the whole thing and asking every single question that you need to ask and not assume that the question is implied. You waste a lot of time. If you say something like, okay, I get it. You get what? You're getting something? You're receiving something? What do you do? Oh, are you saying you understand? Things like that. Am I resourceful and able to navigate bureaucratic systems? This is a little redundant. Can I handle the paperwork, visas, and administrative tasks on my own? Or at least know how to hire someone without being gouged to handle this. It doesn't matter who you hire. They can't access your bank records and your brokerage accounts and your 401k to print all of that stuff out to show that you have the financial ability to maintain yourself while you're in this country. Excuse me. They can't communicate with your employer to get that letter saying that yes, you will remain employed, and regardless of whether you're living in Portugal or not, right? The immigration person can just tell you that's what I need. You're still going to have to go get it. So we in America have our own bureaucratic systems, and then there's bureaucratic systems within corporations, right? Do you not have the patience for that? Because if you don't, you probably don't want to do this thing. Okay. Am I emotionally stable? Can I manage my emotions and handle potential homesickness and cultural shock? It's interesting because somebody recently asked me if I was homesick. And then, what about your family?
Yeah, I remember this. I can't remember who asked that question, but I do remember. Was it when we went to brunch, I think?
Maybe. No homesick. I had already moved away from my family. I moved to Colorado. All my family was in Southern California with a few people scattered other places, right? Texas and whatnot. But most of my family is in California. I had already moved. So I was already 3 states away from my family and was better off for it. If doing Sunday dinner or whatever your family traditions are near and dear to your heart, and the idea of not being able to do that makes you uncomfortable, you might want to rethink.
Yeah.
You might want to rethink. Maybe, like, who was it? Cassandra. Maybe it's 3 months here, 6 months back home, 3 months someplace else, 6 months back home. Maybe that's the key. to be able to maintain those customs that you have with your family and your close friends, right? And still be able to do the semi live abroad thing. Maybe that's the way you want to approach it. Be honest with yourself,
Yeah.
right? Be honest with yourself. And just because this brings us joy, look, Rick moved away from his family too. He's from Southern California. His brothers and sisters were in Southern California. My whole family was in Southern California and Atlanta and Texas. And we were both in Colorado without our main family. Then we stayed there for the kids, and the kids all moved away. So they moved away. They moved away to do what they needed to do for their careers and their lives, or their partner or spouse's career and lives. So why are we staying? Nah. We get one shot at this thing called life.
You got to do it.
And this is not a dress rehearsal. This is
do it.
This is a take.
Yeah.
This is a take. And this is a dream come true.
Yeah. I mean, and they're welcome to come visit.
Yeah, we got a spare bedroom.
Welcome to come visit and see the world.
We got a spare bedroom. They get 3 days, and that's it. And they got to get the hell out.
Oh, I thought it's at least 3.5.
Well, 3.5 days, and then they got to get the hell out.
Get here.
We're teasing.
And ain't going to the airport to pick nobody up.
Oh no.
They got to catch
they have to have money for an Uber or a boat, right? Yeah. Get on that train.
Figure out the metro.
Get on that train.
Metro's right there at the airport.
That's right. $1.85. There you go.
Just make sure you get to the green line. You'll be okay.
All right. So emotionally stable. Can I manage my emotions and handle potential homesickness and cultural shock? Did we have cultural shock?
Not really.
That's interesting. And I think because we came here for a month on a scouting trip, all of the things that might have given us cultural shock were dealt with already. Like me not being able to get candy at 8:30 at night on the other side of the river, which closes down earlier than on this side of the river.
Me not finding my Starbucks coffee.
Yeah. And now I really prefer espresso. I really do.
Yeah, I think I got kind of, and I still have Starbucks coffee. I love Starbucks, but since coming back from Spain, where all I had was espresso, now I kind of like espresso. Now I get it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's better coffee. All right. Am I proactive and goal oriented? Can I set and pursue personal and career goals even in a new environment? Now, career goals, we trying to get y'all to stop working as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So that's whatever. Career goals keep you in the matrix. It's, in my opinion, fruit of the slavery tree. However, if you're younger and you need to make a lot more money so that you can save more money, we get it. Setting goals and getting the thing done. I went to Exodus Summit 2021. I made the decision that I wasn't going to work anymore. That was October 2021. By December 2021, I was finished. And I told Rick, I can't do this anymore. And so we looked at the numbers. The math was mathing. We figured it out. And January 4th, 2022, I gave notice. By May 2022, we were out of Dodge. Boom. Set goals, execute. And then the last one.
Am I responsible and reliable? Can I meet commitments, whether it's work-related or personal obligations?
Yeah. This one is interesting, but not only being responsible to each other and making sure that we're doing what we say we're going to do, but also the people that are trying to help you, that you are doing what you said you're going to do, right? If you said you get your immigration person this information by this date, then do the damn thing, right? Do the thing so that you can get what you want. And so that is our list. These are the personality traits that we believe are necessary to have a successful life abroad. Remember, the move, that's just one part of it. We've been here for over a year now. And if there's a honeymoon period, I suppose we're still in it, because it doesn't feel like a year, and it doesn't feel any less thrilling. I still get thrilled when I walk down the street and greet the people and just walk to the grocery store and I'm looking around and the sky is beautiful. There's less pollution. And even when it's a rainy day,
Yeah.
I'm walking around with a smile on my face most of the time. And people are probably looking at me like I'm cray cray. Like, what does she know that I don't know? Why is she just smiling? I'm smiling because I love life. I am living in my happy place without a care in the world. And we want that for you too.
Feeling good, feeling safe.
Yes. What's the Nina Simone song? Uh, and I'm feeling good. But so I just put the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit information in the chat, and hell yeah, yes, but I get it done. I think I don't know, I don't know. Um, I do procrastinate, but I don't procrastinate to the point where it becomes uncomfortable because then I'm not happy. But yeah, you know, which is why we still have stuff in the shed, or I still have stuff in the shed at home. All right, I am looking for the questions. I had some this morning.
What's that?
Grits.
Grits.
Yep, I did.
Food shock.
Not really. Because one of the things, like this may not be true in Mexico as much because they've got a lot of American stores there. They've got Costco, they've got Walmart. But over here, there are less aisles in the grocery store, even in continent. Which is huge. You're not going to get, there's not 1,000 different cereals, right? And 1,000 different breads. And you've got, berry wheat and whole wheat and this wheat and this with seeds and this without seeds and this with flax and this with, well, they've got gluten free, but there's not like 5 or 6 different types of wheat bread for every brand out there. There's like 4 brands of bread, period. And then that's what you get. Like there's just, it's just a different life. Now, as far as the quality of food, my body loves it too much, but it tastes different.
Oh yeah, it does.
The fruit tastes fruitier, the meat tastes different, and so when I went back, I think I am now gluten intolerant. I don't think I can handle it anymore. Look, they'll be coming over here thinking, "Oh, I'm at mom and dad's house. I'm good. I ain't never going." Honey, we are not the ones. We are not the ones. Regarding people that want to move abroad, why do some people that have their money right still find it it is stressful to move abroad?
It's stressful.
It is stressful because there are so many moving parts. I hate the process of traveling. I hate going through TSA. I hate weighing my bags. And even though we weigh them at home, is it going to be 1 pound heavier now?
You don't want to throw money at everything.
Exactly.
You really don't.
Did I read the website wrong? Was that for business class, but not for, economy plus or whatever, the weights of the bags, right? And then we ship stuff. So we ship my bags, I think send my bags or whatever. That information is below in the description. When is it going to be here? Things just don't work the same. So, they'll buzz downstairs. There's a buzzer to get into the building. If we don't hear it, if we're in the bathroom, if we don't answer fast enough, then they'll leave a note on the door, but there's 10 apartments in this thing or 12 apartments, whatnot, right? So will we see it? Where's our stuff? Then, oh, it's caught up in customs. And why is it in customs? And how much is that going to cost? And da, 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 da. you have to reconcile yourself to things will work themselves out and not let all of these little things stress you out, because they can stress you out. And at the end of the day, I think total with two, we shipped both times, the first time, and then you guys know we went back to the States in July, came back with 2 more suitcases. But it was artwork and things for the house and things like that. And so I think all together for the customs, because we moved here on a tourist visa, we never got the certificate, excuse me, from the embassy saying that we were visaed residents that had a right to bring in our stuff one time customs free. So I think altogether we paid €60. But yeah, it can be stressful. I think the more information you have, the less stressful it's going to be. If you know what to expect, then the less stressful it's going to be. But yeah, um, money is not the only part of the whole thing, and it's a big move. And I don't want folks to think that it's easy peasy. But I'm going to say it's not as hard as it looks either. It really isn't. What is Coast Fi? So Coast Fi means that you basically do not have to save any more money, but there is a gap between the income that you have coming in, be it from dividends, pension, or whatever, and your monthly expenses. So we don't have a gap. We do not have a gap in our expenses, but we are at the point where we cannot live on total dividends and or rental property income alone. We still have to rely on his pension. And so that's why we're Coast Fi. Some people who are Coast Fi, they also call it Barista Fi. Like you just need to work part-time at Starbucks. And that's all the money you need, because the rest of it is coming from what you've saved or your rental properties or whatever have you. So that's what Coast Fi is. You are so welcome, Helen. We are happy to do so. We have fun with y'all. We do. We really do. Did you hear that they may possibly bring the Airbnb back for the D7 residency requirement? Now, see, if they're not giving out any more licenses, I think this will help the housing crisis. I think that some landlords have gotten very, very, very greedy.
Very greedy.
And they know it's not just America. I mean, there's only 6,000 to 7,000 Americans here, and there's 10 million folks in Portugal. All right, so it's not just Americans. There are French are moving here, Germans are moving here. Of course, Ukrainians because of what's going on there.
Brits.
Plus Brits, yes.
Canadians.
So yeah, Canadians I count kind of like Americans because but because of the influence. And then of course brown folks from all over the world, right, are moving here. And so if they know you have to have a 1-year lease just to apply,
they're going to raise price.
It's like, oh, you need this? Dang. And then think about all of the inventory that's taken off of the market at inflated prices. If that landlord gets used to getting €2,000 for an apartment that, very few Portuguese families could afford, right? And before the influx, they were only getting €900 to €1,000. Now they've changed their lifestyle for the €2,000. I understand, like it's a confluence of things with the housing crisis, and I don't think eliminating NHR is what's going to solve the housing crisis at all. But I think this, Jess, would be one thing that they could do is with a package of things to help eliminate some of the issues with the housing crisis. Look, the whole world is having a housing crisis because, like in America, I read a study that said by something like 2040 that 80% of the United States populations will live in one of 13 cities, Denver being one of them. And of course, the usual suspects of LA, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, right? Um, so imagine if people are moving out of rural and to cities, one for the infrastructure, two for the access to services, three for, museums and whatnot, whatever, and work. There's housing crisis. We see the exodus happening all across the globe, and there are housing crises basically in every country. Okay, I think we did it. I think we have answered all of the questions. I don't see any more. Okay, D. So I did put the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit information in there. Again,
Say it loud, sis. Say it loud.
we live in Portugal, y'all. We are having the time of our life. The Portuguese people are so compassionate and kind. They really are. And we were talking to this couple that was just here on vacation. We went to brunch with them on Friday or yesterday. No, that was
Friday.
yesterday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saturday.
right? Just yesterday. Rum punch, y'all. Rum punch. That was just yesterday. And even they've only been here for a week, and they were just amazed by the kindness being shown to them. People going out of their way to help them find this location or that. And that's just been our experience. Now, everybody, every day, no. Yes, racism is alive and well everywhere we go, but it it looks different in different places, and it's not lethal. Lethal. I heard someone say the other day about leaving the US, better to move years early than a day too late. The young lady who said 5 to 8 years because of fire, baby. Boy, did that get into my spirit to get residency in a contingency country first, then Portugal. That's why we got Mexico. Because Mexico is easy. They don't require you to stay in country for a certain amount of time. You just have to pass the financial threshold. And Rick said to me, I don't want to get stuck in the United States after the next election. And I was like, boy, please. But who's the front runner for one of the parties right now? Who's the front runner? And we're a year away from this election. I know the nonsense has already started. I know it's already started. So, I tell people when Putin got elected the first time, and if I remember correctly, and I can't remember if I'm remembering history correctly, it seems to me that he lost the next time and then got back in. Did the Russian folks know that that was going to be their last real election for the indefinite future? If the wrong person is elected in 2024, will that be America's last real election for the foreseeable future? Now, I don't want to hear about checks and balances because January 20th happened, or January 6th. There are no checks and balances when certain people are in office. We are the checks and balances. There's no magic god behind that says, oh, the president cannot do such and so on. The president, a president who does not care about the law can do whatever the heck he wants to do. And that was proven between 2016 and 2020. Everything was supposed to be a bridge too far. And they always want to say, well, he looked presidential today. Oh, big effing deal. But he didn't do anything presidential, nor did he say anything presidential.
And now all of them are coming back saying, oh, he was terrible as a president. All these people put up.
But they give him airtime. They give him airtime.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And they try to act like there is no difference between that orange person and Obama, or that orange person and Biden, or even that orange person and Bush. It is the disingenuousness of, if that's a word, of the American media is disgusting. And they've got people now with the undereducation undereducation of Americans with absolutely no critical thinking skills. And I would not put it past the American people to vote that stupid orange person back into office. Do you want to get stuck in America? Look, he doesn't even have to change the laws to make you get stuck. Like, we have heard of countries where the president just calls the embassies, the ambassadors, and say, look, this is not going to be a law, but reject any visa request from Americans. Reject them. Reject them or get out.
There's countries doing that, yeah.
Yes. Yes, Jess. Yes, yes, yes. And we will love you for it. Um, there's a there. I want some hot sauce. I I was making hot wings, and I don't know why I only brought one thing of hot sauce. I don't know what I was thinking.
You weren't thinking.
I wasn't thinking. I was not thinking. Louisiana hot sauce, y'all. I don't care what brand. I'm not one of those Frank's, Louisiana, the Rooster. I don't care. Just not Tabasco. Thank you. Please and thank you. Oh, yes. Okay. So they don't have a lot of different breads here in Portugal, but they love them some yogurt. Is the yogurt aisle long?
Yeah, and there's plenty of it.
Right?
Yeah.
You got this kind and that kind.
And I eat yogurt every morning, but I just eat
plain Greek yogurt, yeah. Right? But it like
they got
flavors yogurt that I'm like, ooh. And they've got it runny, and then they've got it chunky, and they've got it with this and that, and the fruit on the bottom, and no fruit, and just an essence of fruit. Yes.
Plenty of yogurt and wine.
Yes, yogurt and wine. Yogurt and wine. I'm telling you.
Which is funny because when we were in Spain,
one of my favorite songs,
we didn't find any port wine.
No port wine.
No port wine. Actually, I take that back. I did find one bottle of port wine that was brought to Spain from Portugal.
Yeah.
But Spain produces wine too, but I didn't find any port wine. It's like,
and I know that, maybe port wine has to be made in Porto or the Douro Valley, just like champagne has to come from Champagne. But they didn't even have their version of it, really. Right? No dessert wine. How did you two structure day times to prepare for your current life while still in your day jobs and other responsibilities? We quit. First, we quiet quit, and then we just quit. So I like if you still have to work, your timeline is probably going to be a little bit longer. But you definitely need you might even want to have like one of those whiteboard calendars. I did have that with the you start with the day that you want to either do your scouting trip or make your move, and then you work backwards from there and say what has to be done before those times. I like to have it digitally and on paper when it's something like that. So you just have to be very mindful and purposeful about making sure, first of all, don't let them folks have you working a bunch of overtime because you don't have time for that. But the last 3 months that I worked, I was supposed to be training someone, but she just wanted me there for questions. Okay. So I took Rashida and Stephanie's Get Your Next 3 Clients. I took the How to Do YouTube with Stephanie and started. We had already started decluttering, but I had not decluttered as much as I thought I had. I thought I had really decluttered. I had already started because I was working from home. I had already started emptying out the office, for instance, right? If we were on a Zoom call, just looking behind me, you couldn't tell that all that space over there was being emptied. And the closet that had clothes that I hadn't worn since whenever, all of that stuff, right? Start getting rid of that. But there was every time I thought we were close.
Every time you turn her, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, because we were talking about decluttering and getting rid of stuff. And I was like, The moment you stop and you turn around, all of a sudden there's all this stuff, more stuff that you never thought about. You thought you got rid of. It's like it makes babies or something.
It really does. It just keeps coming. And I thought, like, we have a basement at our house in Denver. And excuse me, I thought that except for artwork and maybe one box, that it was cleared. It wasn't clear. It was not clear. But we have been gone for almost a year. I look. But I think at this point, it's just artwork. I think that's it. I don't know. We got to see about that second garage. I don't know. But yeah, you definitely have to.
And if you anything left in that.
And if you work from home, this becomes easier, right?
Yeah.
Maybe take 30 minutes for your lunch and 30 minutes to do just this bookcase, right? And then tomorrow, that bookcase. And then the next day, that closet, right? So I think, and say, I want, by the end of this month, I want to have this room totally clear. And the only thing that's in here are the necessities and the furniture or whatever have you, right? So I think you just have to be very purposeful and mindful and map it out. Map it out. All right, y'all. We are not going to hold you too much longer. How did you choose structure? Okay, we just answered that. Can you visit the U.S. after applying for D7 after you move there? Yeah.
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 We're still U.S. citizens.
Well, it's the how much time you can go back and forth. Okay. So
well, yeah.
In between getting your visa, and so you're here on your residency visa, but you haven't yet had your immigration appointment, your self appointment. Mm-hmm. You have 2 times to come in and out. Supposedly.
Okay, that was weird.
I don't know if I did that.
Yeah, you probably did.
Supposedly, the first time is when you enter, and then you get one more time, and that's supposed to be for emergencies only. So, but once you have your green card, you can come and go as you please. You just are not supposed to be gone for 6 consecutive months.
Right.
So it's like you have to at least be here for 8 months out of a 2-year period, and then when you get it renewed, then it's 8 months out of a 3-year period. So those are the rules. So yeah, we are planning to do as much traveling as we can. Does the D7 require income that is locally sourced? No. Mm-mm. Not passive income from U.S. Yeah, you can pension your social security check is how we got approved. We have rental income. We had the money in the bank, but they wanted to see all of that. And if it's just your social security or a pension, or you work for yourself, mm-hmm. that can even qualify. You just have to make sure that they can see the deposits going into your bank, and you show them. I think we showed 2 years worth of bank statements, something like that. Y'all still talking about the rum punch. Me too. It's not like I wanted to work longer. I was just overthinking it. So, yes, the D7 is passive income, but passive can be a pension. Okay. If you work, it's not the D7, it's another visa. Sometimes they let entrepreneurs get by on a D7. We will have immigration people there at the Move to Portugal Summit. And so she's really going to get into where the dividing lines are as far as which visa you apply for. But listen, folks, these kind of visas do not exist for people who want to come to America. There is no retirement visa. You're either a refugee or a job sponsors you. Otherwise, they ain't.
I need you quiet, quick.
You do just enough to get by.
Yeah.
All that extra stuff, like my dad.
Yeah, no more doing the extra thing, going the extra mile.
Yeah, no. No, because you're not paying me for that. And you certainly don't appreciate it. You ain't acting like you appreciate it, right? Now, my last boss, I have to say, during election season, she gave me a huge bonus, a huge bonus. Um, there were a lot of factors to that. I had to take over some more responsibilities, and election season was hard. So she did show her appreciation with money, and I appreciated that. And all of that money went into a good portion of it went into our retirement accounts and or our IRA or brokerage account. So yeah, so quiet quitting, y'all know, y'all know how to do that, especially if you work from home. But I mean, you do what they pay you to do, and not anything more, not anything more than that. Is it more cost effective to purchase clothing and everything there instead of moving stuff? Yes and no. And we're going to talk about this at the summit as well, because the normal way that Americans shop, you come here and try to do that. No, it's not less expensive or more cost effective. But it takes a while to know where to shop to get the deals. And like I buy sundresses all day long for $10 or less, all day long.
Mhm.
But these are the kinds of shops I would not have gone into until one of the ladies that we have talking at the summit told me where to find the deals.
Yeah.
So, hey, gang stalking, good to see you in the chat. We are wrapping stuff up. Ray of Sunshine, I love that name. Quiet Quit. I'm trying not to be obvious. My inspiration is working to get that poor that what payor to pay off debt. Oh, okay, to pay off debt, being careful to not spend on frivolous things. Okay, your P is missing. Spend on frivolous things in the process. Yeah, it's you know, you've got the goal. You've got the goal. I don't know where those. So it's recognizing hand gestures.
Sweet. Hey, there you
See,
go.
it's recognizing hand gestures now. I don't know where that came from.
That's weird.
I don't know. It happens in Zoom as well. I don't know if it's an Apple setting.
Yeah, that's trippy.
I don't know. So I do hand gestures, so I have to be careful. How long is the green card delay? It's not delayed now.
It's not. People are getting them real fast now.
Once we got our appointment, then everybody else has got
It's
faster
sped up.
appointments. We know someone who, like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after they get here, they've got their appointment. I'm like, I'm trying not to get up in my feelings. What was the question?
Then they got their green card within 30 days.
Yes,
Or less.
or less, and
Yeah.
it took us like 6 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's moving a lot faster.
So, and here's the thing: just as they're threatening the cancellation of NHR, CEF is finally making that move to dissolve CEF and split it. I think they're splitting it into two different divisions, with immigration and then customs as separate departments. And so all of this is happening this month. How they think they're going to roll, I don't know, but I'm sure they're going to figure it out. Is it true that the income tax is 40% if your income exceeds 150,000, and that the U.S. treaty only insulates 10% from taxation there? I'm not going to answer that. I have no idea, Cassandra. We will have a Portuguese tax person at the Move to Portugal Summit, and that's why we have somebody to talk about what you have to do as an expat from the United States on the tax side, and then what you can expect as an immigrant to Portugal on the tax side. All right. And so, yeah, I don't know. You can go online and see what the tax rates are, but take that with a grain of salt, because part of what you see is Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And you're without being a Portuguese citizen, you're not going to be paying Social Security. So, and my understanding is whatever you see online, a piece of that is Social Security that citizens have to pay. All right. Yes. Yes. You can have an American based remote job and that can be counted towards your income source. That's why I was telling baby girl, or I don't know if you were male or female, so I'm sorry. The one who was 5 to 8 years away from fire, that the maybe the thing is to go ahead, come to the summit, have Libria Jones teach you how to get that remote job and make that move now. When I say now, I mean like in the next 3 to 5 months, as opposed to 5 to 8 years. Okay. Okay, I just answered that one. All right. All right, we're being very Portugal specific now and not talking about personality types. So we are going to let you all go. This is not for the faint of heart. It was a lot, wasn't it, to get here? It was a lot. It was a lot, but it wasn't difficult. It was tedious. There were a lot of moving parts, a lot of details that we had to keep track of, a lot of information. Putting aside the money to have someone help you do this, to me, is worth its weight in gold, because I know on American and Friends in Portugal Facebook group, they are really into DIYing it. They also, some folks in that group also tried to DIY their way through buying some property and got burned. To me, there's too much money on the line to DIY it. I want somebody to say to me, who is an expert, who is helping me do the thing, tell me namaste. Relax, Halisi. I know what I'm doing. I got you. All right.
Funny. SONI.
Is $3,500 a month good enough to retire on? We're frugal to some extent. Yes. Rick and I live here in Lisbon on less than that per month. So we did do a cost of living video. You can go over there and see what our costs are. Some of it might have gone up a little bit since then, but not much, because it wasn't done that long ago. So if it has gone up, it's by 1% or so. But yeah, we are living off of basically his Social Security check. So, and that's 2 people. So yes, we do believe that you can do that. Do you think relocating within the US is good preparation for moving abroad? Yes. The only thing is that you can have a culture shock moving from state to state, right? The United States is huge, geographically huge. And the difference between how folks act in Mississippi versus Chicago versus North Carolina versus, Oregon or California is vastly different. And I moved from California to Colorado, a bit of a culture shock. And I had to, the only thing is when you're moving stuff in a moving van, the one thing that I did is I moved food. I moved canned goods. You won't do that. But I think the process of throwing away junk and really thinking about, do you want to pay to ship this somewhere? I think, yes, could definitely prepare you for this thing. How much over the minimum financial requirement do you have in the bank a year or 2 years? So in the Portuguese bank, our immigration person said 3 months living expenses in the Portuguese bank for the D7 visa. Would I have access to the lady who helped with finding a remote job if you have a weekend pass? Yes, you will. So she will be talking to the VIP people as well as the weekend pass. And that's Libria Jones. You will. And I'm glad you're coming. I am glad you're coming. And that's it. We're going to let you go, y'all. It's been 2 hours. Now, get this. So last week we had on Kindle.
Yes, Mr. Lampkin.
And that video is doing very well. So he, Kindle's a great guy. He is a great guy. But y'all know we had some technical difficulties at the beginning, rookie mistake on our part. Somehow the settings kept switching. And I know it happened again. We pre-recorded one of our speakers for the summit on Friday, and it happened again. It was switching, right? So it I don't know. Sometimes when you do updates and things like that, and the software hasn't caught up, who knows? I want to know what deal is with these gestures, though. I definitely want to
Yeah,
tell you.
that's so weird. And it's
Okay,
StreamYard.
and this is StreamYard, and it's happened in Zoom. So, okay, I know on our lives is our family, is our tribe. I know y'all are cool people, but we had somebody in the comments. It's always the replay people. And I'm not talking about all the replay people. Y'all know who you are, you know, because I respond to every single comment. But one person said, oh, I just can't even. Too much chatter at the beginning. How do y'all think I responded to that? How do you think I responded to that?
Did you block them?
Block,
She will block them.
block. I did not quit my job where folks felt they had the right to criticize every move I made, to do my fun hobby with my husband, to have folks I don't know criticizing me. You got it right, Greta. You got it right. Right?
Oh God.
You're not fixing to mess with my peace, my saudade. No, babies. No, 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 no. Go watch another channel. I don't need to hear you. I don't need to hear you. So we give a lot of ourselves. We do research and all of that to make sure that we're bringing you good information, trying to add value, trying to be the people that we needed to see when we were making these decisions and these moves, right? And home chick or homeboy gonna get in the comments talking about what? I am not the one. Those days are, oh, and you ain't paying my rent? Love y'all. Love y'all. And we will see you next week.
Next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.